I'm a fan of fantasy, so I listen to Easy and Alan on their Just a Fantasy Fan podcast. During the show, you can live chat with Easy and Alan at LennyMelnickFantasySports.com. Rumour has it, Lenny only swings one way, with Launch Angle. Now here's Easy and Chris Allen.
And welcome to Wednesday night at LennyMelnickFantasySports.com, the Legend Sports Network. That means it's me and Mr. Chris Allen. How you doing?
How we doing?
I'm doing fine. Doing fine. We finally made the big switch at Lenny Melnick. LennyMelnickFantasySports.com. We're finally on Spreaker, the new software, which is what me and you were using anyway. But
right. So that's not really new.
What's new for them, and it's new that I can stream that way and don't have to do multiple streams. So it makes my job a little easier. I only have to hit like one button now. The new video software worked well for us last week. I did it again last night, and I think we're probably going to stick with it. And so that's
I like it.
Cool.
I really do.
I know. Do you like it this way, or both of us bigger?
I don't like seeing my own face all that much, so I think that's a bit too much. It's too much.
There we go. All
when
right.
you zoom in like that, it just reminds me of the fact that I need to shave. So
me too. Me too. No one. I mean, hey, personal's personal. I know there's people out there at LennyMelnickFantasySports.com that do care about me, but I've had father-in-law issues. Been at the hospital a couple times in the last 2 days, and been there most of tonight. So I kind of just got home and got a few things done before we hopped on the air. So. Not that I'm, not that anyone here could ever tell when I'm prepared or not, meaning I try to keep it where no one really knows how gifted I am.
Oh, of course.
So, it works out perfect when I'm not, but luckily, because this might be one of those weeks where we jump in a little sooner than normal.
Before 40 minutes into the show?
We might.
Wow.
I'm not committed, but I actually took notes during the draft and put them in my show notes during the draft rather than waiting.
Okay.
I don't always do that. I always after an event go, I should have wrote some notes while I was watching.
Look at you coming prepared.
But okay. But here's my case with that. As the prima donna sports aficionado that I am, I feel that just the few moments of taking notes might draw my attention from an event or a situation that deserved my full attention.
Sure.
So my lack of preparation is really an advancement of my my sports knowledge that I bring to the show.
Wow, that was a lot to take in right there. The first off,
take your time.
Prima donna aficionado.
Got it right.
You nailed it. I'm so proud of you right now.
Thank you. I like that. So that's it. That's all I can say.
I'm flabbergasted.
That's it. We're done. Thank you for tuning in. Everybody out there.
Oh man.
I love that.
That is too much. That is too much right there.
That's why I'm here though. That's why I'm here. To keep this train on places track should be. That's probably more our thing.
That is more our speed right there.
Right. That's
definitely more our speed.
We aren't on tracks and we're not off the tracks. We go where tracks should have been to begin with.
We go where the tracks take us, but we don't know where they're going.
Amen, brother. Amen. Now, okay. I truly just got done communicating with one of our most popular guests that we've ever had on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go back through a lot of logs and a lot of, shows to see who that, guest might be.
Right.
But here's the issue. We have a scheduling conflict.
Oh, no.
I need to get you on board. The round table is Tuesday nights at 10 o'clock.
Right.
And that's not a train off the rails. That's a train that is hit shit and is scattered. I mean,
that ain't even a train, man.
It ain't even a train. But we have fun. Last night we had a lot of arguments. It was a blast.
That sounds about every Tuesday.
It is. and I enjoy it because I don't have to prep much. I can argue with anyone over anything I've never studied in my life. I can argue.
I know.
So it works out, and we had a lot of fun arguments last night. Okay, but the newest Washington Redskin that has also been one of our most requested guests on the show. Mm-hmm. He has communicated with me that he can come back on, but Tuesday nights at 10 o'clock work better for him than Wednesday.
Okay.
So let's put it this way. You are definitely invited, and we can kind of start the round table a little late and more or less start, we can kind of do a fantasy fan hour and then the round table can jump in afterwards, or I can. Long story short, you're my man.
Who else would it be? I
am not tight if it's not for you. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
exactly.
You are my hook, of Velcro. I'm just like fluffy material. You're the hook. So,
got it.
I need you. So I have to, I want to throw it out there first and say, you know what? Me and you can just do Tuesdays at 10 next week.
Okay.
Interview, Wesley, which that's who we're talking about. Wesley Martin, NFL draft pick 131.
Yes, sir.
The Washington Redskins round 4, 2 rounds earlier than another Big Ten hopeful, Tom Brady.
Correct.
We went 2 rounds before Tom Brady went.
That's how you have to look at it.
Oh, that's the only way I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
No, actually, I am not looking at it that way. I'm looking at it for once in my life. I can watch a Sunday night Cowboys versus Redskins game and give a shit.
Oh, about the Redskins?
I finally can watch a Cowboys Redskins game and actually give a shit.
Fair enough.
Because we've had that conversation. That's not my favorite division.
Sure. NFC East, really? Oh, okay.
I can't stand them.
Huh. I mean, like the Eagles. I mean, they just won a Super Bowl.
Eagles have done no. They're America's division. They're the world's division. I'm sick of them. They're on every 4 o'clock primetime game. It's one of them.
The Cowboys they will probably have the most right next to the Patriots. They'll probably be shoehorned into almost as many primetime games as possible from now until the end of time.
Coming around. So finally, a Sunday night of football.
Yeah.
That I can go, all right, now I got a reason. I'm going to watch my man. I'm going to watch, Mr. Wesley.
Yes.
Wesley's he's gonna be blocking for a couple of Big Ten players too.
Yes,
we'll get into that. There's a lot of Big Ten going on in Washington these days.
Well, actually, yeah, because he'll be blocking for one of our Buckeyes, or former Buckeyes, rather.
Yeah, Haskins, and he is also blocking because they also got a wide receiver from the Buckeyes,
Mr. McLaurin,
and I'm pretty sure is it. Darius, I thought one
Darius Guice, yeah.
Where's he from? I thought one of their running backs.
Darius Guice, he went to LSU.
That's not who I'm thinking then. Did they not draft a running back this year even that was a Big Ten? I'd have thought for sure I saw if they also had a running back that was Big Ten. I could be wrong.
No, I don't remember where he went.
A lot of research on the draft. I might have missed that one. But yes, Wesley there's a lot of Big Ten action going on. Mm-hmm. So, and I hate the Cowboys. I'm definitely not that I don't like that division, but the Cowboys are at the bottom of my,
Right.
And that's the problem now. I mean, definitely I'm going to have to now in my best ball league where I already drafted, I got me some Adrian Peterson. So I've already got, I got a little piece of Wesley right there, so I already have a little piece of Wesley, on my draft and hold or best ball. I don't know. I mean, baseball, they call it, I don't know the difference. In baseball, they call it draft and hold. And in football, they call it best ball. But,
okay. Yeah. Best ball.
We're good to go. So next Tuesday night, I'm announcing it now. Next Tuesday night, big show. Where
I'll be there.
We are going to have an NFL. This time we are going to have an NFL player
on the show.
I
can't wait.
That's it. I mean, we can quit after that one. We've done it.
That'll be our biggest show.
Big show. Show. Social media everywhere. we're gonna be pumping it. So, but yes, I did talk to Wesley. Me and him actually had a funny conversation. The boy cracks me up.
Was he at home when he got drunk?
Everything but ask him where he was, to be honest. I did not ask him where he was. He was actually here Sunday because his Brave Breeds Rescue had an event up in Piqua.
Okay.
So I know he was, and I saw pictures that looked like he was there. So I'm pretty sure he was there on Sunday. And it was fun, and we'll just go there. We were going to talk draft anyway, and I enjoyed all 3 days.
Yes.
And obviously, the first big issue I ran into was, and this has nothing to do with the anybody other than me, but the NFL Network was kicked off of DirecTV Now, and I haven't watched the NFL Network in a few weeks, and I didn't know that. And it literally had been turned off that Monday.
Oh, okay.
I turned it on Thursday for the draft. It says, sorry, due to financial blah, 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 we couldn't come to an agreement with the NFL Network. They're no longer blah, blah, blah. So I did not get to watch their show or their draft coverage, so I cannot critique that. Yeah. But ESPN, obviously, on the first night, they did have their NFL team, their crew. They had their college crew. ABC had theirs, but the ABC, what was weird is the ABC live one was technically the college one. So that one this year was a combo kind of thing. The CBS Sports app, very good. I watched a lot of that. But the one I ended up enjoying the most on Thursday and actually Friday when it was newer, I did PFF, professional.
Yeah, Pro Football Focus.
Yes. Pro Football Focus with Chris Collinsworth. It was live on YouTube. I did that one. And I had all 6 screens on a different stream. Okay. And I found that one this year to be.
Yeah, I caught some of that on Saturday night.
Yeah. And again, I think back to just for the fantasy knowledge, they obviously throw a lot of fantasy stuff out there that some of the others don't.
Sure.
But they're also doing it as a football, crew. They're looking at football first, fantasy second, but they at least can, added some fantasy information in, which I found, enjoyable. The other stream I watched was the Bleacher Reports. Had a live, there was multiple live video streams on YouTube. Now a couple were on Thursday night, but on Saturday they were shut down, or on Friday they were shut down. So I think there was a few that were maybe doing it,
under the radar.
Under the radar. I think if I'm guessing I think you could do it. Meaning if me and you were watching and talking about it, I think that would have been acceptable. I think where some were getting in trouble was showing video of the draft or clips that were being used.
Yeah.
Because even PFF, they
couldn't show the actual draft. Right. They were just waiting for the picks to come in and then just reacting to the picks.
Correct. And they were showing their own graphics, and then they would cut away and show some of their own college film of some players. So
that makes sense.
Their film was not a duplicate of maybe ESPN or one of those others. So
that's actually kind of wild to think that in order to experience the draft nowadays, we don't even have to watch the draft. We can just get instant analysis from other crews. So if you like PFF, if you have a subscription to them, I did last year because I like the stats that they produce. And actually one of my friends, he actually works for PFF. So it's like you can consume all of that data, you can consume all that analysis, but you don't even have to watch the draft.
Right.
You can just watch, I would assume almost every crew now is going to do it.
Other than ABC, and when I say ABC, if you were watching live with an antenna, you know what I'm saying? If you were watching ABC live with an antenna, that's where I noticed the pick. You got the pick almost in. It was instantly. You knew. The pick number 2. To the 49ers. That happened. But of all the other streaming services, the next quickest one, and it was almost instant, I was amazed, was PFF, meaning almost instantly when ABC would say it, they would have it and be talking about it.
Yeah.
The other streams were taking a little bit of time, including Bleacher Reports. They were in some cases almost a player behind.
Oh.
You know, I don't want to. Okay, I take that back. The first night they probably weren't a player behind because we had 15 minutes.
Okay.
But on Friday night, I noticed they were almost always a player behind on Friday. You know, where we had the 10 minutes and 5 minutes. But I didn't. Chris Collinsworth and the group they had there was very entertaining. And here's the other nice thing: not a commercial. Now,
yes, constant. Yeah,
they did a few sales pitches for some of their own product and a few.
of course. Yeah.
They had a few. I think they were advertising some brand of coffee drink, and they were all talking about drinking. You know, believe it or not, I enjoyed it. I should have wrote it down, at least plugged them here a little bit.
Right.
They were pubbing some kind of a an energy drink, but it was coffee based.
Right.
And Eckrich sausage. I know that was they plugged
Eckrich sausage.
at one point, which I found very amusing, but they did. So, and then they did their own thing. They had a promo code. If you did during, while you were watching, you got 25% off if you did promo code draft 2019. So,
right.
Again, I enjoyed that I could put them all on, and then obviously I'd switch audio if I wanted to hear something about a particular player.
Well, of course, and they're from Ohio. Yeah, PFF, their headquarters is in Cincinnati.
Right. Yep, right. So, just found it fun. That was the best. I like having the multiple. What did you end up watching? What was your main?
The main actually was through NFL Network. Caught some of their stuff.
Yeah, the only one I couldn't watch.
So I watched theirs, but they had a similar setup, at least the one that I was watching, because they were actually, because it was Mina Kimes and not AJ Hawk. The former player he played for the Browns, Andrew Hawk.
Yeah.
Like he was on there and a couple other guys. So I was watching theirs on Saturday night. Then I caught PFF's on Friday night. And so I was just kind of bouncing around and seeing like who was able to, one, get the picks in as quickly, because I wasn't really all into watching the actual draft. So I was just bouncing between those two. And I thought that I found them both like really enjoyable.
Yeah. I mean, it was, again, I found it, it was enjoyable. And like I said, I really liked, that it was that you have options now.
Yes.
In the old days, you didn't have any options. You were stuck with, in the real old days, you were stuck with reading the paper the next day. Because it wasn't being done live anywhere. And then obviously, I was following to see where Wesley was going to go. I mean, again, I live in the community and I paid attention. There, the rumors were he probably wasn't going to go till Saturday, but still, you wanted to watch and wanted to keep up. And everything. And so now that we talked about the coverage, let's start with the first couple of picks. I'm not sure the number one pick was a surprise. Wasn't to me, I guess, based on everything I know.
It wasn't to me.
I still think it was a dumb pick, but whatever. I knew whatever. My point is that I find it questionable, but the thing I found neat was it's the second father and son to be drafted in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the other father and son
in the first round? No.
Okay. And unfortunately it's father, son, son. The Mannings all went in the first round.
Oh, I didn't know they all went in the first round. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
I didn't know where Archie got drafted at.
Archie was a hell of a football player.
Oh, I believe that. I just didn't know what his draft stock was. I knew he turned out to be.
He was a first round draft pick.
Okay.
So you have, but the other issue is Kyler Murray's also the first person to ever be drafted in both football and baseball in the first round.
That I did hear. Yes.
So, kind of a neat thing.
Oh, for sure.
So that's the first round. And again, I mean, I'm worried about Arizona, but
I'm not.
I know you're not, but you should be. Pick number 2 or because Kyler Murray. And I think they screwed up. Why did they do all this? I mean, even down to the last minute, they were tweeting that Josh Rosen was their man. I mean,
that's poor process on their part, because if this was really what they were going to buy into, then they should have had a trade in hand for Josh Rosen well before they were even on the clock. So it seemed like they were a little lazy, or either they were lazy or they assumed that they were going to recoup maximum value for Josh Rosen, and the league just wasn't having it. Right. So they wound up getting, pennies on the dollar for a first round investment that they just made the previous year, but that's on them.
I agree, which will take me down to, pick 6 when the Giants moved up to get Daniel Jones.
That's hilarious.
I think that is hilarious because I'm fine with Daniel Jones. I'm fine with Daniel Jones, but it sure seems like they could have got Rosen.
Not at 6.
Seems like they could have. Well, it just seems like they could have done something else and still got Rosen and still picked someone else at 6. So they could have had Barkley and Rosen, who they wanted last year anyway.
Right. And they could have done that. They could have taken Haskins. I mean, there were so many other ways they could have gone.
Well, again, if it's their man, it's their man. That's the part I am not, because I don't do that. If they want to move up six picks and get somebody that they think they can get down here but aren't sure, I don't have a problem with that part of it.
No, that's fair.
We can say that Daniel Jones would have fallen to 12, I think, is where they were picking, or 13.
He would have been there 6 picks later.
That's what we can all assume. I mean, I know, and most of us think, yes, he would have, but at the same time.
Oh, wait a second. They picked again at 17, so it would have been 10 picks later, or 11 picks later.
No, because I thought they gave up. They didn't give up that 13th pick. I thought that was the point. But
that's fair. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that being said, to me, it still is just the player, and they could have got. My point would be, I think Rosen has the ability to be just as good as Jones, if not better still. And they could have probably got him based on what Miami gave for him, could have got him cheaper still.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. That was the first thing that I, really went, oh man. I mean, that was because I am not one of these who watches the draft, because we've had that conversation. I love college football and I watch a lot of it, but I don't know, we've had that discussion too. Even for the best NFL talent scouts that are out there, the draft is still a 50-50 guess. I mean, there's a lot of guys that don't get it right. A lot of picks don't work out.
Sure.
So, like I said, that's why I always love. I'm a fan when teams trade down and take 2 or 3. I love that the Bengals had like 900 picks in the 4th round.
They made some good moves.
Because I think a bunch of 4th round picks, you have just as good a shot at getting a Hall of Famer there as you do, in the 2nd round with your 1 pick.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my first kind of question, was pick 6. Did you have any problem with anybody picked before that?
Before pick 6?
Yeah.
No, it all seemed to be about as I expected. Bosa, Quinnen. I don't know about Farrell to the Raiders at defensive end. I wasn't all too. I mean, I don't know a ton about defensive players, but at least from the general reaction that I got, Farrell would have been available much later. And since the Raiders had multiple 1st round picks, it just didn't seem to make a ton of sense to me for him to do that
up at that spot.
Right.
But again, that's the difference in me and you. I don't have a problem usually where you take people if you want to make sure you get your guy.
Sure.
It's back to my point. If we're, again, that is a spot technically I was questioning. My point is they had one of the best, defensive rushers in the world last year.
That they just got rid of. So
now this gentleman's going to come in and play cheaper. He's going to cost less.
Right.
But
if that's their process, or if that's what they were looking for, then I guess I can understand that. But that still doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I guess the next time that I questioned anything was, and I could be wrong, when Pittsburgh traded to move up 1 spot, ahead of their arch rival, the Bengals.
Correct.
So that was my point. Do you think they were afraid that because the Bengals could have used a linebacker. The Bengals
could
have used. Now, I don't know enough. Like, I agree with you. I don't know enough about college linebackers to know how good Devin Bush is.
Good.
It sure seemed like Pittsburgh was willing to give up something to make sure Bengals didn't get him.
Yes.
So that definitely looked to me like a pick where they were doing a deal so that the Bengals couldn't have somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously our Bengals turned around and took an offensive tackle.
Which we needed anyway.
Yeah, I agree. But we definitely, again, our defense, we're losing some players, on defense also. I agree. Offensive tackle. I had no problem with our pick, especially when, Pittsburgh came up and jumped one pick in front of us to steal our linebacker. So obviously that was that. And then obviously the one that was important to me was pick 15 when the Redskins came and got Haskins, which everyone thought at 15 was the steal up to that point. Everyone thought that was the best.
Well, everyone thought he was going to go at 6 to the Giants.
Yeah. And not only that, they got what some people think could be the best quarterback in the group. And they need a quarterback. I agree with you. I mean, college quarterbacks are questionable at best when they come in. But I'm not the only person. I mean, and I'm not. I mean, I've heard more than one person that thought Haskins was the best quarterback coming in.
Oh, I've seen people say that. Mm-hmm.
So for Washington, who needed a quarterback, obviously, I'd assume, based on what I hear, he's coming in as a starter, or at least
he should be.
I would assume it's his job to lose, because I don't think. I mean,
McCoy, no. Alex Smith, no.
They both have the same injury. They both have major broken legs.
Yeah, so no.
So, I thought that was, probably the next somewhat big thing that happened on day one. And really, as it went by the rest of the way, I don't think anything else caught my eye that I thought. I really thought the rest of round one just kind of, I don't know, use the word bored me. I was entertained, but I don't recall any other first round type pick.
The wide receiver to the Patriots, N'Keal Harry going to the Patriots, I thought was pretty interesting, because for a team that, again, relies so much on analytics, them spending a first round draft pick on a wide receiver, I thought was pretty interesting, especially after last year when they threw everybody for a loop by taking Sony Michel in the first round. So now they're picking one of the, if not the best wide receiver in the class in the first round. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Oh, it's barely the first round.
I mean, it's right there at the end, but I mean, if you're talking about a team that's, a guy that's not going to be catching passes from Tom Brady, of course, everybody has to stop and watch.
Yes, all right, that's true. They have Demaryius Thomas now.
Who cares about Demaryius Thomas? He's done.
Me.
He's washed.
We all say that. I'm just telling you. That's the kind of player who comes back and has one big year with the Patriots, and then we'll never hear from him again. So now, again, I don't have too many notes on the second round either, to be real honest. Let me see. My next big... Well, before we go any further, what in the second round, again, paying attention to my Bengals, I just thought the Bengals did the word okay. I mean, they did good. I think they got players they needed.
I don't know about the tight end that they drafted.
I didn't have a problem with it. They need one.
But in the second round, it's like I feel like they could have gotten him much later. They could have passed on him and actually started focusing on defense at that point. It seemed like a pick they didn't need to make at that point in the draft. I mean, if you were going to go offensive tackle in the first round, then why not continue to shore that up or go defense? I mean, if they really did get. If Pittsburgh jumped them to get a linebacker in the first round, then why not try and look for a defensive player in the second round that they could pick up at a value?
And maybe I was wrong. I was rooting at that point that we would have taken Metcalf. I would have
taken that too.
Yeah, that was now. I mean, that was probably the only thing there.
That would have been a luxury pick. It would have been like great for my fandom. Well, but at the same time, we didn't need it.
Green on one side, Boyd and him. Metcalf. I mean.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Who the hell is the tight end when you have that? So
right.
But my point is with the Bengals, I was just like, I think the Bengals did okay. I'm not ready to grade drafts because, again, I think grading drafts is a waste of time because you really don't know anything for 4 or 5 years regardless. And Metcalf, I think at this point was the one player that everyone kept going, man, he was that dropper.
Why is he falling?
There was a point where everyone thought he was a first round type guy. He was the darling of the combine. And he just kept falling.
Yes.
So like I said, I kind of at that point when the Bengals did come up, I was like, okay, like I said, I didn't think they needed him, but I would have liked that, Anybody else in the second round that, and it's even back to Metcalf going the very last pick of the second round, which the big news was that, the Seahawks took him because Baldwin may not play again. That was kind of big NFL news, this week that Doug Baldwin may, not make it, through this injury. So obviously Metcalf, I'm not saying
Metcalf isn't Baldwin's replacement because Metcalf plays on the outside. That'll be more for Tyler Lockett's benefit than anything else because then Tyler Lockett can pick up the slot work.
I'm just saying they think they need a wide receiver,
Sure. But in the fourth round, that's one hell of a steal. That's a massive value at that point.
That was a second round. They got Metcalf in the second round.
Oh, yeah. But I'm just saying that at that point, it was a massive value. That's what I'm saying.
I agree. I think Metcalf at the end of the second, there's a lot of people that thought he would have gone in the first.
Right.
The thing that caught me was the first running back didn't go until the third round.
What are you talking about? There was a running back that went in the first round.
Oh, you're right. That's not my point. I'm sorry. Right. There was a running back went in first round. It was in the third round that a running back went to the Rams.
Yes, that was a big one.
Early my point is this was my first fantasy. Because we already had
that was your first one? Mine came in the second.
Well, then let's go back. Okay, before we go in the second, what was your fantasy issue?
The Mecole Hardman draft, the wide receiver, the speedy wide receiver / punt returner that got drafted by the Chiefs. Because with everything that's surrounding Tyreek Hill, them going ahead and drafting one of the, if not the fastest wide receiver in the class,
right?
Who's also a kick returner.
Has similar skills.
That has similar skill set. That really spoke volumes to how the team is preparing to, I guess, get through whatever the commissioner winds up handing down to Tyreek Hill. If they wind up putting him on the commissioner's list or the exempt list, whatever happens, at least the team already recognizes that something's going to happen. They need to address it.
I would give you that. I just happen to be for fantasy. I know we've had that, that a couple years ago. A couple years more than that now. The year Odell Beckham and that rookie class came out, there was a lot of fantasy success.
Mm-hmm.
But history shows rookie wide receivers aren't normally fantasy relevant.
In year one, that's true because it's their path to targets is it's deep because they're normally sitting behind somebody. But in this case, if Tyreek Hill is actually suspended, he doesn't play, then Hardman walks into a significant portion of what Tyreek Hill leaves behind because the Chiefs don't have anybody that can replicate that.
Playing time is a part of it. But everything I hear and listen to, and we do listen to similar podcasts, though, some of the wide receiver skill set and level is a big learning curve.
Sure.
So even if they have, the path to play, their skill level might not allow them to play. That's my thing.
Sure. So you mean to tell me you're not going to draft the guy catching passes from Patrick Mahomes?
No.
That guy's
not
the guy that almost broke the touchdown record. The guy threw 55 touchdowns last season.
No, I'm
on
not
on the highest scoring offense in the league last season.
No,
but you don't want a piece of that offense.
Oh, I do, but not that guy.
Not that guy.
And why can't I think of his name? Who's the wide? They have the wide receiver from last year that was hurt half the year that came from Buffalo.
Sammy Watkins.
Yeah.
So that's the guy that you want, the guy that's injured a lot.
Oh, yes, because I think if Sammy Watkins is healthy, I'm going to get him a lot. I'm going to get him late enough in the draft where he's a value.
He's not going to be a value.
Oh,
because everybody's now going to one apiece.
Anyone who listens to a Fantasy Fan Sportscast will know because I'm going to trash him. I'm not one of these.
He's already being pushed up into the 5th round.
I'm stupid.
I'm just telling you.
I'm just saying. All right. So we've said I'm not going to have any Kansas City Chiefs on my team.
Okay.
Go with that. Right. I'm not a rookie guy, Chris.
Yes, I know that.
I would have to see. And again, he's going to go too high. If they're both in the 5th, I wouldn't take him.
Yeah, Sammy Watkins' ADP as of right now is 64.2.
But I'm talking Hardman. I wouldn't take Hardman unless he would fall. I don't think I'll get him at 9. But
it all depends on if Tyreek Hill is suspended. If he's suspended, that boy's ADP is going to be through the roof.
It won't be on my team, brother. A rookie is a pizza delivery boy. That's all I gotta say.
Oh my goodness!
In round 3,
Curmudgeon.
the Rams take a running back. Which in my best ball draft, I told you Todd Gurley went pick number 1. I told you we had to draft twice. The round 1 went twice. 2 different people had the pick, and both went Todd Gurley pick number 1. This scares the hell out of me, which is why I wouldn't have picked Todd Gurley to begin with. This is why Zeke Elliott is the number 1 pick right now, even after this draft. I'm sorry. Zeke Elliott right now has the best path to doing what he did last year over these top running backs. Because you don't pick someone in the 3rd round if Todd Gurley is your man. Okay, he might be just your man, but you don't do it. And they also have CJ Anderson.
No, they don't have CJ Anderson anymore. He gone.
Damn it.
Yeah, he gone.
You're making me look bad on, nationwide public.
Well, I'm just telling you, he's not there anymore.
Okay, quiet. Give me a second while we're real quiet to edit that out. But now I saw for sure they've got another running back that they just signed, which I thought was CJ Anderson again. Did they not sign someone here?
No, CJ Anderson's in Detroit.
Okay, never mind. But they did play CJ Anderson when Todd Gurley was supposedly healthy. So that's still cool.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. Throw me a bone.
But during the playoffs, yes, absolutely. And then he wound up taking over for Todd Gurley. Absolutely.
No, I had his name and then I moved it. What was the kid's name? The running back that went to the Rams.
When, last year?
No, this year. The 3rd round, the Rams took
Darrell Henderson.
Thank you. What do we know about him? And I think he was the 2nd or 3rd running back taken.
If I'm remembering correctly, he is one of the most efficient running backs almost of all time. His yards per carry throughout his collegiate career bordered on 9 yards per carry, if I'm remembering correctly.
Well,
it was pretty ridiculous.
Right. With Memphis. All-American running back, Rams, blah, blah, blah. He played college in Memphis. Oh, that was a lot of information. Thank you. All right. I'm just saying, when that happened, fantasy-wise, that was one of the points where PFF stopped and went, whoa, fantasy-wise,
yes.
This could be a thing.
Yes, his college yards per carry is 8.9 yards per carry. That is for his entire collegiate career, almost 9 yards per carry.
Chris, I don't eat in my kitchen. I eat in my family room, and I don't get 8 yards a carry.
I know. That's ridiculous. You're essentially getting a first down every time that kid touches the ball.
Exactly. And I don't do that. Just
so for the Rams, so for the Rams to draft him, either something's really wrong with Todd Gurley and they just don't want to admit it.
Right.
Or they know that Todd Gurley's knee is a ticking time bomb they're just ready to pounce on it as soon as he's done.
This is where you're better than me by far. What do we know? Where are we at contract wise with Gurley?
Gurley, I thought he was still so it's 2019.
This would be his 4th year coming up, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, so he would still be on his rookie contract
at 4 years.
At 4 years. So after this season,
do they just not want to pay him? Could he be healthy, but they don't want to pay him? I don't know.
Yeah, they'd have to make that decision I forget how the rules wind up working.
All right. Todd Gurley will not be on my fantasy teams unless he falls to the 2nd round.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Zeke Elliott. I mean, I'm not a fan of the Cowboys, but I want to win in fantasy. So Zeke Elliott will give me a second reason to watch Sunday night prime time Cowboys versus the Redskins.
He already signed his extension. Yeah, he just signed his extension this past year. That's why, because he was brought up in the Le'Veon Bell discussion. My ears are mixed up.
Right. Okay. But I don't know how much was guaranteed or what happens or whatever, or like
say 25, 30 million, something like that.
Maybe they know more about his knee than we do.
I would assume so.
Amen. I forgot about the first round, right? Josh Jacobs was the first running back, right? The Raiders took a running back.
Yeah, to Oakland Raiders.
Fantasy, what does that do for fantasy?
Puts him, at least for Dynasty, that puts him at the 101, 102. I mean, depending on if you're playing Superflex or whatever. He takes over. I mean, he's the lead running back at this point. So that puts him in front of Jalen Richard, Chris Warren. They just brought Doug Martin back. He re-signed with the Raiders today because Isaiah Crowell, who they signed during free agency, he tore his Achilles, I guess, yesterday during practice team meetings. Isaiah Crowell.
Oh, he did? I missed that.
Yeah, that came out earlier today. So as soon as that happened,
I was in the hospital most of the day today and did not.
I realized that. That's why I'm telling you.
Thank you.
So yeah, he tore his Achilles, and then they re-signed Doug Martin. So it's Josh Jacobs, Doug Martin, Chris Warren, and Jalen Richard. And then the rumors are already floating around that if Marshawn Lynch wanted to come back, he would. If the team needs him and they go and ask, he'll come back. If the team
wants him back, he would come back. Meaning he's made a commitment somewhat verbally to say, if you guys want me to play, I'll play. So it's on the Raiders, right? The ball's in the Raiders' court.
If they want to pay him.
I got you. Right. All right.
It'll probably be, $5 million, something like that.
Hey, it's a lot of Skittles.
Hey.
What can we say? What can we say?
A man wants the Skittles. What do you want me to do?
Man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Yeah.
Anything else in the third round that drew your attention or that you went?
Third round, I mean, there were a number of there were some wide receivers that were picked up in the third round that I thought were pretty interesting. But then also the
linebacker there. I do remember that too.
And then also our Buckeyes, Terry McLaurin, he got drafted in the third round. He wound up going to the Redskins. But also but if it wasn't just Henderson also getting drafted, it was David Montgomery. So the Chicago Bears wound up drafting him. So that actually has a pretty big fantasy implication because they already got rid of Jordan Howard, who used to play with Wesley at IU. Yep. And then and Jordan Howard is with the Eagles, and then now they drafted Dave Montgomery to go in and take his slot. And so that was pretty interesting.
In round 3, I'm looking. And
that's about it. I mean,
actually, you know what? I'm just always amazed. Maybe I'm a Big Ten. I mean, just even in round 3, a lot of Big Ten players were taken. I mean,
and also the weird, not like massive or like instant fantasy implications, but it does raise some eyebrows. In the Panthers drafting a quarterback in the third round when they took Will Grier. So there were some eyebrows raised in terms of, well, what does that mean for Cam? Because Will Grier is actually he was a highly touted, not highly touted, but like a fairly decently touted quarterback prospect.
Cam does get hurt. I mean, it's also nice to have a backup, and we've seen this a lot. Quarterbacks that play like him don't last like Tom Brady's. They don't last 15, 20 years. They usually last 10, or 8 or 7. It's hard to run, and he does get hurt 2 or 3 games, it seems like, every year.
Sure. Packers, they drafted a tight end, which was interesting since Jimmy Graham this is probably his last year. So that'll be
a lot of tight ends. Now, maybe I just never pay attention. Just seemed like there was a couple tight ends going in every round this year.
Because they had the same athletic profile as George Kittle. And so it was more of let's see if we can now start replenishing, because you got to think about it. I mean, Gronk just retired. Kyle Rudolph, while he just got his extension, he's getting up there. Travis Kelce is now like entering his age 30 season.
The rumor is Kyle Rudolph is on the block too.
Yep.
I've heard a few things on that.
Yep. So we've got a lot of these like tight end talents. I mean, I think Zach Ertz is 28, 29, so he's getting up there. So it's time to start, and I mean, Jordan Reed, while he might be young, his body sure isn't. So,
well, again, then we'll move to Saturday. We just talked about Thursday and Friday. I did watch both of those nights. I got up. I don't know why in my head, I was thinking old days where the draft started at 9 in the morning. At 9 in the morning,
yeah.
I go turn on my TV and I'm like, where's the draft at? And then it goes out, comes on at noon. I'm like, you know what? At noon, I need to be mowing grass and stuff. It's hard.
More family friendly.
Luckily, it rained a little bit here in the area. I was able to sit back and watch more drafts than I might have.
No, it didn't hit us until later on in the evening.
Like I said, it rained enough that I couldn't mow my grass. That's all that matters.
If you waited long enough.
Amen. But the big thing is pick number 2 in the 4th round. The Bengals take a quarterback. You can say that. I mean, I think what we have is, my point is, I'm not a quarterback guy. I think this kid has as good a chance as any to take the Bengals and win a playoff game.
I had more fun watching Jeff Driscoll last year. I mean, like Ryan Finley. Okay.
I don't know. I don't think Ryan Finley's that bad a player, though. He's a big, tall guy. He can play quarterback.
He's Andy Dalton.
Exactly. Except younger and a little bit mobile. Andy Dalton is not mobile at all, and he wears that damn gay black wedding ring that's made of rubber, so his wife knows he's married on the field. It's like, give me a break. Even Tom Brady, who has a hot wife, doesn't wear his wedding ring out on the field. Come on.
Well, they both went. I mean, he went to TCU. Whatever. I mean, he's religious.
Put a ring in your nose, then. Damn it. I mean, I love a wife like the next guy. Me and Mrs. Easy celebrated 57 years.
Congratulations.
No, I've been born 57. We celebrated 37.
Well, still, congratulations.
Yeah, tonight was our 37th anniversary, and we spent it at the hospital with her father. So
you got to do what you got to do.
That's right. I'm part of the family now.
Well, yeah, now you are.
I'm definitely now part of the family.
Yes.
37 years. So, We'll live with that. So then obviously we're going to move right to pick 131, which, at that point, I wasn't sure. I was watching for Wesley's name.
I was waiting.
Things. I mean, I had heard rumors that somewhere between, to be honest, I had been hearing 5th and 6th.
Mm-hmm.
To me, when I saw in the 4th, I was ecstatic. I thought it sure seems like they won him. So,
right.
And he went someplace that needs offensive line.
Right.
So I think, this was a good pick for Wesley.
For sure.
I don't know yet where the Redskins are going to be. I think they have a lot of holes still, and obviously they're going to be young. So that's going to be a key, obviously, because they're going to be young at quarterback. They're going to be young at running back. They're going to be young at wide receiver.
Right.
And now they're going to be young at 2 offensive lineman spots, because they did draft 2 right here in the middle of the draft. So,
right.
And like I said, the word on Wesley was that he could have been one of the strongest people in the draft.
Yes, with as many reps that he put up.
Yep. So, they're putting him down as one of the stronger guys. And, I'm not saying this, and I'm, if he's on the next Tuesday,
he'll be here.
I don't know how much I want to get into what I heard or whatever, but I did go to a few Washington Redskins websites where the reporters were talking about draft and all that. And they said where Wesley's got to work on is his downfield stuff. Yes.
Oh, okay.
He is strong. He can be on the line. He's not going to get pushed around. He should be fine on the line. The concern is his downfield, execution.
Okay.
You're more of a guy when it comes to that kind of stuff than me. And
that sounds like his run blocking, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, they said the one guy was real specific. His second level attack, meaning I'd assume how he's going to deal with linebackers.
Yeah.
Is what they're talking about. Does he have the speed to be able to deal with NFL linebackers?
Got it.
Because the other offensive lineman they drafted, which I think then their next pick in the 5th round, they're actually saying is the opposite of Wesley. Not as strong, but much quicker. And if anything, is the opposite. He needs to work on his, strength and line attack.
Okay.
He's fine at that next level where he's working on linebackers and corners and safety. So
right.
I thought that little thing was kind of interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
Which, hey, it's in-depth information I would have never gone to look up on anyone else. But I just it's Wesley. It's a somebody I'm familiar with, and I just wanted to see. And again, that being said, everything I listened to or read through the Washington media was fine with the picks. So
okay. Yeah.
There wasn't much. I mean, everything's like, okay, they all were agreeing they need offensive line help, and they got it. So pretty ecstatic for the young man, like I said, to go pick 131 to the Washington Redskins. Like I said, was pretty ecstatic when it happened. So again, congratulations.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm looking forward to talking to him next week. And then I actually have a few buddies that live down in the DC area that are Redskins fans, although they were begrudgingly Redskins fans. But either way, I'll probably be down there at some point to catch a game with them.
Well, I don't know. Have you looked at the Redskins schedule?
I did briefly, like when the schedules were released, so I could figure out like bye weeks and all that stuff for best ball purposes.
I'm already looking at my kids.
Are they playing the Bengals?
They played the Bengals the second preseason game. So,
okay.
But that's a game Wesley should play. So
rookie should be a part of that.
It is a preseason game. It is the second game of the preseason, which is usually one of where players are active. So and obviously it's in Washington, not Cincinnati. Their first preseason is here in Ohio, but it's in Cleveland.
Okay.
Because my daughter was like, well, we could drive to Cleveland faster than we can drive to Washington. But Washington's not as far a drive as you. I mean, it's not.
It's like 8-ish hours from here.
I think the way I drive 6.5, 7.
And hopefully not get caught by the cops.
Right, cop schmop.
Okay.
I'm on the way. I'm just telling him I'm on the way to see my man.
Okay. Just tell him tell him Wesley, and you're good.
Yeah, Wesley Pass.
All right.
So we're looking at that now. Obviously, they don't play the Bengals in the regular season. I already looked. We looked that up. But and to be honest, I'm trying to think. I know they don't play Indianapolis either because I looked that up because that would be the two closest. Obviously, if for me here, Indianapolis isn't much farther than driving to Cincinnati.
Right?
Maybe 20-30 minutes more. So those would be the two closest places if he's playing. But, then the next pick, just a few picks down, I was so excited. The Bengals have Michael Jordan, a guard. They have a guard named Michael Jordan. Who doesn't want a guard named Michael Jordan handling the ball?
Yeah.
Okay, not that Michael Jordan.
Of course.
Damn it. No, Ohio State's Michael Jordan.
Right.
Another offensive lineman. But I'm just saying it was exciting.
But it's something that the team needed to continue to address.
Yes.
And if you want to see more of Joe Mixon, if you want to see more of Andy Dalton actually standing upright, not running for his life and throwing interceptions.
The key came down to me, though, is, the guard taken just before Michael Jordan was Wesley Martin.
Right. So that would have been great.
Sure seems like we were close.
Yeah.
Meaning Michael Jordan was a Washington Redskin, which Michael Jordan is part of the Washington basketball team, right?
Right. Yeah, the Wizards.
So I would have thought they would want Michael Jordan, and then we would have Wesley in Cincinnati. I mean,
I don't think namesake plays too much into their process. At least I don't think so. God, I hope not. Maybe. I doubt very, very little that's going to be. But either way, it'd be worth asking Wesley next week if the Bengals. I'm assuming they brought him in. I thought I'd heard rumors that the Bengals brought him in for a workout, like during the 30 days.
I heard a lot of names. I never heard the Bengals, but I never heard Washington either.
Okay, so it'd be worth asking him to see,
Now, that doesn't mean we didn't hear. It didn't happen. The ones I kept hearing were the Bears, the Saints,
heard the Saints,
the Lions, Kansas City. Now, again, Wesley, now I'm assuming the first show he wasn't willing to say much.
But now he could probably talk about
what he actually went through.
So I could have sworn there was a team out west that was looking at him, like if not the Chargers,
the 49ers. But,
yeah, that sounds right.
But I mean, I heard a lot, but I'm a seasoned professional.
We know this.
When it comes to, college, the draft and how teams do this.
Of course.
But that being said, what little bit I do pay attention, these are poker players. These draft room people.
Oh, yeah.
I've learned over the years, and I get it. It's just my opinion. The more I hear anybody saying, "Oh, they've looked at him a lot. They're interested. That's the guy." I almost always go, "He isn't going there." It's usually the teams that don't say a word that end up drafting. I'm saying it. The more they talk about you, to me, isn't always a guarantee that they really are interested in you. They just want other teams to think they are interested in you, and vice versa. Just because they don't look at you doesn't mean they're not interested in you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because some teams want to hold their cards close to their, close to their chest or whatever, in some.
Oh yeah, they know how to play the game.
Yeah. So, to hear right from Wesley, to find out who really was talking to him. And hey, you always see that phone call. You always see the phone call and blah blah. Did Wesley get that phone call? Was he on the phone to somebody before they called his name? I kind of want to know that. And
that'd be interesting. What that moment was like, because I like seeing some of those stories, because now with the media reporting on the DK Metcalf one, where he had to get calmed down by Pete Carroll. Right. I mean, it's really heartwarming to see those types of moments.
Who asked that? He's our number one guest.
Absolutely.
My goal is to have him on a few other times where we can really get into the depths of the mind of a trench grinder. Now that I think about it, were the Hogs offense or defense? The old Hogs of the Washington Super Bowl teams.
Oh, I don't remember that. That's way before my time.
I thought they were the Hogs. I thought that was the offensive line. I thought they were called the Hogs because they were the offensive grinders. To get Ripken. Ripken might have been their Theismann was the quarterback. Who was there? Yeah. They had a big thumper at running back. I'm trying to think.
I don't remember who that was. I'll have to look it up.
Where's Cam? We have no one in the chat room. Cam used to be our man. Cam would know that.
We'll be able to pull it up quickly.
He's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, use your Google. Hall of Famer, late 70s, early 80s, Washington Redskins.
Really?
Yeah, Washington Redskins running backs.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I mean, worth looking into.
Yeah, but he's in the Hall of Fame. And I know he ran behind the Hogs. I'm almost positive. The Washington Redskins were the Hogs.
Really?
Yeah. Don't quit doubting me.
All right. I'm not down. In what year?
Redskins. Running backs.
Riggins,
thank you. Yeah, Riggins, he's in the Hall of Fame. Riggins is a great running back. Yes, that's what Riggins ran behind the Hogs. So Wesley's going to be a future Hog.
Okay.
But round 4, anything else that we need to touch on? Again, obviously Wesley and I'll be the first to admit, once Wesley was drafted, I waited a few more picks for the Bengals and I started tapping out on the draft.
Pretty much.
I went Thursday, I went Friday, I went, an hour or two deep Saturday. And then I have to be the first to admit that I, slowly tapped out. So we're getting close to the end here.
Mm-hmm.
Anything between Wesley and the end of the draft that fantasy or just noteworthy that you know of or you want to bring up
after in round 5 and beyond?
Yeah, anytime in there. Is there anything that because I gotta be honest, I didn't study much of it after that point with Wesley.
I thought it was hilarious that the Buccaneers took another kicker in the 5th round. I thought that was funny.
I did see that, but the first guy off was a punter, though, right? The first guy off was a punter, but I don't think that was Tampa Bay, was it?
No, I forget which team wound up taking him. Oh, it was the 49ers. 49ers wound up taking him in the 4th round, and then Tampa.
The guy they took did win the Biletnikoff Award or
it's still a punter.
Whatever. I think in the 5th round, didn't the Patriots take a punter?
Not this year.
I'm pretty sure. Hold on. New England Patriots. I thought I heard.
Oh, they sure did.
Jake Bailey, punter for Stanford.
There you go.
So that's another 5th round punter.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Still kind of bizarre.
Now, again, though, the New England Patriots don't draft well. I'm sorry. They
know that. Bill Belichick has actually come out and said that they don't draft well.
Right. He has said that the worst thing he hates it.
Yeah.
So hell, you might as well take a punter. I couldn't tell you who their punter is now. I did notice, in the 5th round, the Northwestern quarterback, very intelligent quarterback from the Big Ten, went to the Eagles. So I know it's a 5th round quarterback, but they need a quarterback. They need a backup. Their quarterback doesn't stay healthy.
Right.
And the kid's been a pretty good quarterback. Now, again, it is Northwestern. They're not known for, they are known for smart guys. He should be a smart quarterback, but
right. He'll be a pretty solid backup, I would think.
Yeah. When you have your franchise guy, you can't spend too high of a pick on your backup.
Yeah.
So, I understand that. I don't have a problem with that. So if there's anything else other than that we would be not doing our job if we didn't bring up Mr. Irrelevant, because everyone does. If you're going to do a draft recap, you have to bring up Mr. Irrelevant.
Well, yeah.
Are you better off being Mr. Irrelevant or being picked in the 6th round? I don't even know.
I don't know, to be quite honest with you.
It was another tight end.
Mm-hmm.
It was Caleb Wilson,
tight end
from UCLA.
Yeah.
So the last pick in the draft. So, congratulations. He got drafted.
Well, at least he got drafted. Yeah, he wasn't an undrafted free agent. Although, from what I saw, the flurry of undrafted free agent signings that happened, some of them came with pretty sizable contracts.
Well, some of them do. 2 University of Dayton kids got signed.
When I saw a couple of them, they got some guaranteed money that was tossed in there. We're only talking hundreds of, tens of thousands in guaranteed money and maybe $150,000 contracts, but still, guaranteed money for a UDFA. That's pretty significant.
Right. So, I guess the only other real thing to me is, the SEC, man, they just cleaned up, a lot of SEC players went in the first few rounds.
Buckeyes had all their prospects go.
Yeah, I saw that too. So that's a big deal.
That was pretty impressive.
That is our draft recap, and in the next week or two, we'll go a little more in depth of Dynasty and how this, how we play that out and all that. That's coming. And like I said, next week we'll juggle it. I don't know if we'll record the first hour separate from the round table, and then maybe I'll replay it on Wednesday night, or maybe we do the show on Tuesday and then do a recap on Wednesday. We'll see how it goes. But like I said, Wesley's schedule just made it to where Tuesday was going to work better, to be here. So we'll get that out there now, and I'll be posting that here in the next few days, to let everybody know that, we're going to have Wesley was one of our biggest shows.
Of course.
The first time, because I did pub it a little bit more than others, and especially here locally, put it out there. So, I we probably will do it to where it's just me and you, and then I'll throw the link out there for the round table after Wesley's done, or maybe if Wesley's willing to stay, and maybe we put the link out there for people to call in / pop on to ask a question or something. And
we're trying to maybe get some questions beforehand and just fire them at them as we go. Yeah. I like it.
So we'll work that out, and then we'll play around. But I just since I found that out tonight before the show, I wanted to make sure that was out there.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? I guess the only other big thing is, I don't know. I'm hooked on hockey right now. I am hooked on. Last night we won a close game. I mean, we won. We are now leading the series 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
Game 4 Thursday night. Pretty big deal. We touched a little bit on Tyreek Hill. That boy could be in trouble because we talked about the end of last week's show about how he's going to get out of it, and then that video, the audio tape came out like the next day.
It was really bad. I mean, it's really, really sad and scary to hear that.
My kids will tell you I beat them, but that's just because they hate me. My kids are a pain in the butt. I told the kids, hey, text your mom. It's our anniversary. And they go, that's right. It's your anniversary. We don't care. I'm like, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You should care that your parents are together. You wouldn't be here, you little snot noses.
Yes.
Remind me why I hate kids again. So it's just one of those things.
You don't have any anymore.
I forgot. I bought a 6-pack of the new Heineken 0.0.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
I had one already. I had it at work before I left and drove home. I thought, hey, I can now drink a beer before I get in the car and drive home. And I did that. Only because we tested it. The other guys at work well, let's try it. They all said the same thing. It tastes like beer, but it tastes like watery beer. but that's the point, right? I mean, it's still it had more flavor than beer. I've had a few NAs in the day. This goes way back, but I was a stay-at-home father at one point.
Right.
And because the woman of my dreams was concerned that I would drink too much in the middle of the afternoon.
Oh, jeez.
She loves me. She cares.
37 years, man.
But I did commit to, okay, you're right. I'm going to be home with the child during the day. And even though we're having pizza or burritos for lunch, which sure is a good meal to have a beer with.
Sure.
I went ahead and I tried a few NA beers and picked out a few, and because it still tastes better than water to me. I don't care. The weakest beer that you can have still tastes better than water. I'm sorry. It does. I mean, and to me, I still drink a little bit just to have that beer flavor in my mouth while I'm eating. So just saying. We'll review it maybe some other show. I'll, see. Yeah. And I did read, this one seems to be brewed. A lot of non-alcohol beers are beers with alcohol that then they boil the alcohol out. This one supposedly was made without the alcohol to begin with. So
we'll have to talk with our sponsor and figure out how that's made.
Oh, me and him have already had like an hour conversation.
Oh, I'm sure.
On how and why and all that. But maybe we'll have to get him on. And obviously we were trying to discuss the laws.
Mm-hmm.
Can you buy it if you're underage? Can you drive and drink with it? Can you, because it says malted beverage, but the word beer is on it too, but it also says 0.0.
Right.
And Joey says in his contract to sell alcohol, it has to be more, it's considered an alcoholic beverage if it has more than 0.5. So if it's 0.5 or higher, it's an alcohol drink.
Yeah.
This is 0.0.
So what different? Oh, okay.
No, I'm just saying 0.0 is not, it's not taxable.
Right.
So even if it's not taxable, it's legal. Meaning, I'm guessing if you want your 8-year-old kid to take a watery Heineken to lunch at school, he should be allowed, right?
That's probably not a good idea.
But why?
It's just a bad idea. It just looks bad.
Okay. All right.
It just looks bad.
All right. Should I have one? Now, the Heineken commercial shows a guy in a business meeting drinking one. It's actually a pretty funny commercial.
I've seen that one.
Because the boss is which Joey's argument would be that if it still smells like beer and you're drinking it and you're waiting on customers, maybe then your boss would have the right to tell you can't drink that. I would say if it's legal, it's legal. Then if I didn't drink this, then he can't drink Dr. Pepper, or he can't drink apple juice, or he can't. My point is, I want to know these things, Chris. Chris, thank you.
It's off the rails.
Thank you for coming. No rails. We didn't start with rails.
That's true. No rails, so we're good.
No rail. Right. That should be the title. A Fantasy Fan Sportscast. No rails.
Yeah.
All right. Chris, what do you got going on out there? Where's your work at? Where can our lovely listener find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Chris Allen FFWX. I've been taking a slight break from writing, but I've got some stuff coming up from with 4for4 and Sports Illustrated. Some of that stuff should be coming out within the next month or so. Okay. So we're preparing. I mean, we've got that lull in between everybody's digesting the NFL draft, and then we're already into May. So off season and training camp and all that stuff is literally just like weeks away.
Are they called? What are the ones in the middle of summer? Mini camp? What are the
voluntary workouts? Those have already started.
Voluntary, non-voluntary mini camps.
Yeah.
Rookie. When does that start? I thought that was late.
It
already started?
Yeah.
So rookies would be there now? Kids who just got drafted?
Yeah. Some of the guys, I mean, they said at least for I forget which team it was, to be quite honest with you, but there was one team where their rookies were there like that night. Like already in the facility.
We'll have to ask. Write some questions down, Chris.
Come with questions.
Write some questions down. Because I will be in the middle of something. I'm gonna. I need you to get some of that homework done. I want to dazzle our guest.
Well, yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you.
I'll do that.
All right. You can, guys. People know me. You can find me at Easy Kill at LennyMelnickFantasySports.com chat room. Or at a fantasy fan. I'm out. I'm about. I had answered a few questions in the chat room today. I think I dazzled a few people with my baseball knowledge.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm doing what
you got to represent for both of us because I don't know squat about baseball.
Exactly. Right now in both baseball leagues,
you're carrying us.
I'm up there in both leagues, both my money leagues. I'm up. I'm respectful. I am respectful right now. So. I'm carrying the team. All right, Chris, say goodnight.
Good night.
I can dance now. I don't have buttons to hit.
This has been Just a Fantasy Fan podcast. And to keep your fantasies going, follow us at justafantasyfan.com. Say goodnight. Good night.